we did something called the premium processing. So instead of waiting for several months to know whether or not you have been approved, that just cuts the process short and you get the feedback on whether or not you have been approved in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we got the approval notice and it was awesome. Hey beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be discussing how I got my O1, how I got my work visa in less than 8 months here in the United States, the whole process. Okay, I'm just going to talk about like the duration and how I went about it. And if you need more details, please ask me in the comment section and I will be so excited to answer. So before we go further, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and share my content, so you never know who you'll be helping out there. So real quick guys, how I got my O1 visa. My O1 visa, it is, first of all, what is the O1 visa? The O1 visa is a type of work, non-immigrant work visa for those with extraordinary abilities in the science, education, athletics, business. There are different types of O1 visas, but I was just talking about the O1A, which is what I got, and it's for business entrepreneurs, really. For me, it took about 6 to 8 months for me to get it. To be honest, it was quite fast, surprisingly, because I had over 10 years of work put into it. I'm not an immigration lawyer, guys. This is just my personal experience that I am sharing to be able to help someone out there. So if it's something that you think that you want to learn, please keep watching. As a beauty entrepreneur, I've had my business for over 10 years. I've had one of my skincare company for over 5 years. I've had my hair company for over 3 years. I've had my beauty pageant business. So it's just been a combination of different businesses. So that's how I was able to get my O1 visa. Guys, I'm going to show you my petition. It was so huge. That's it right there on the screen. I'm going to put it right there on the screen for you to see how huge it was. So what does the O1 visa do for you? Basically, it gives you the ability to stay in the USA, to open your business, to be able to run your business without any issues. You can work in the USA as well. If you're not a business person, you can work here in the USA without any problems whatsoever. But because I already have my business registered in the US, I'm able to run my business and be able to just, do things without any problems or running into any problems with the law. So for me, it took about 3 months to put my petition together, because you have to put a lot of things together. It has about 8 categories that you have, and you have to fulfill 3, I believe. So you have to have press about you. You have to have judged the work of others. You have to command a high salary in your industry. You have to hold an executive position. You have to have scholarly articles about you. So you have to have original contributions. You have to have awards. I think you also have to have your work displayed, but that is for those who are artists and things like that. So yeah, on the USCIS website, it says that you just need about 3, but a good lawyer would tell you should have at least about 4 or 5, just so that in case it's one of them is not too strong, the USCIS officer is able to use the other ones to back it up or something, so that you have a strong case. So back to how long it took. It took about 6 to 8 months or less, actually. Forgive me for not being very detailed, because this is just coming from the heart, from the soul. I'm just giving it to you raw, undiluted, real life, not edited. I put my documents together in about it took me about 6 to 8 weeks, because I already had, like I said, 10 years of work. It was just about putting it all together. So when the documents were ready, it was very tedious. After putting it together, we did something called the premium processing. That just cuts the whole process short. Instead of waiting for several months to know whether or not you have been approved, that just cuts the process short, and you get a feedback on whether or not you have been approved in 2 weeks. So that was like awesome. And in 2 weeks, we got the approval notice and it was awesome. So if you intend to travel, and it means you have to go to the embassy in your home country. So in my own case, I went to Nigerian embassy so that I could have it stamped in my passport. But if you're going to be in the US, then you don't need to. But because I have a business back home and I had to go back and forth and shuttle, I had to go to the embassy. I can do another video that details the whole experience with getting my visa approved, because spoiler alert, you can actually get denied. So yeah, apparently there are two different departments. So we have the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of State. So USCIS, which is United States Citizens and Immigration Services, is a different department from the embassy that gives the visa to get. So sent your petition to USCIS in America. They have looked at it. Now you want to travel to your home country, you have to go to the embassy. Now, the embassy does not know how much work you have put in. So you have to go for another interview. People just think you just go and they'll just stamp it. Well, um, you really have to prepare, because they need now, the USCIS is not seeing you, they're just seeing the petition you sent. But at the embassy, you're speaking to someone, the counselor, who is looking at you to know if all these things that you have said you are, that it is really you. So it's something you have to think of. And I promise you guys, it's not that hard. In my next video, when I talk about the full interview, I'm going to give you guys the gist. It's really not that hard, but it's something that you have to be prepared for. I'm also going to talk about the advantages and the limitations. So one of the benefits of the O1 visa is it's a dual intent visa, and your family members, that's your immediate family, which is your spouse and your children, which are your dependents, get the O3 visa. I think there's another aspect of it that also has like the O2. That means if you're coming in as an artist, like all those big musicians in Nigeria, or the ones that you know about, that you've heard about, because most people even used to call this visa like the artist visa, because you can come in with your crew, and those ones will be on O2. The only limitation that I would say is your spouse or your children can go to school, but they cannot work. So that's something to also consider, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to like proceed with the EB1 green card, so that there are no limitations. And then when you have your O1, you can literally stay in America for as long as you want and go back and forth and travel, because the first 3 years you get when you get your approval notice, you go to the embassy in your home country, right? Okay, so when you have all of that sorted, so you have your visa now, it is valid for 3 years. Now that after that 3 years, you can renew every year for as long as you want. So the application process basically, like after finding your sponsor, which in my case was my business, you get your you file your I-129, then you get your approval notice. My approval notice was, I did something they call the premium processing, and like I said earlier, it was approved in 10 days, which is approximately 2 weeks. So when I went back to Nigeria, I had to fill out the DS-160 form for the interview at the US Embassy. Yeah. And then I took my approval notice to the embassy, and I was able to secure a date almost immediately, to be honest, because they don't have a lot of people in Nigeria who are trying to get visas for the O1 category. But if you try B1, B2, you'll be seeing 2-3 years in advance. But for O1, you can literally get the next day interview. But I kind of waited for like 2 or 3 days after I had landed in Nigeria. So yes, guys, I believe I have been able to explain how I got my work visa. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask me in the comments below, and I will be there to answer. If you want to send me a DM, shoot me a DM at Queen Loveth on Instagram, and I'm sure to respond. If you need me to do more videos on certain things, please do not hesitate to ask. Of course, I'll be excited. I always want to share knowledge. Please do not hesitate to ask me. All right, guys, until next time, thank you so much for watching. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share my content. You guys have been amazing. Thank you so much. Goodbye.